Welcome back to Dum-Dums and Dragons, where improvisers who've never roleplayed before journey into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. I am the Great Wizard Bukake, your host. Our heroes are finalizing plans for a nation-saving performance. Juniper finished her legal consultations while making music with a dwarf. Butthole locked down the plan for his firework show, and Quinny was brought unhappily to a wizard who explained his cloak. What will happen now that the portal has been opened back to the Fortress of Forlorn Hope? Find out next on Dum-Dums and Dragons.
With a crackle of arcane energy, the somewhat busted Raven Gate in the quarters of, I was going to say Archibald and Emily, but that's wrong because it was Grace and Typhus and Emily, but they're also dead. So now Reginald and I guess Butthole sleeps like nearby, right?
Well, it's like because there's this, I think the central floor had the Raven Gate, and then the old, like the top floor bedroom
up where
was Butthole's
the
space.
iPal was.
And Reginald's hiding by the elevator.
Yeah.
Amazing. So halfway between a
He's
Butthole
sleeping
and a
there?
Reginald, the portal crackles open.
What?
Is he sleeping by the elevator? I don't know why. Never mind.
That's where the bedroom is. We're just discussing the layout of the top floor room.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Thrilling audio intro. Where is he sleeping?
I thought you just meant he was sleeping.
This episode's brought to you by Serta
beside
Sleep
the
Mattresses.
elevator door.
No, he's got a bedroom.
Like, that's weird.
All right, so the Raven Gate opens.
Wow. It's like I can see it.
It's sleeping by the elevator.
Halfway between a Butthole and a Reginald, the Raven Gate opens, and Bucky, you lead the charge through. Now, Ryan, you had an extensive list of people you wanted to see show up. Who is coming through the Raven Gate?
Oh, it's everybody on staff were his priorities that he needs to put in charge. So he had Annan, he had Bucky, he had Declan and Honor System, he had Penny and Ford, and he had Leanne Lionshield.
Great.
Those were the top of his list. Anybody else is welcome. He's not saying they can't come through.
No,
but...
we established that the gate is touchy enough that it's risky to bring folks through. So,
and we wanted to, I think, just to check in because this conversation would have been had. Is Ginny coming through here to be protected? Because I think we talked about her possibly being, we talked about her being the future of this nation.
Yeah, we did.
So I'm imagining Ginny would also have been on the list then to protect, the once and future princess.
is she?
Unless Quinny had said
Quinny
no.
has a say?
Actually,
She
realistically,
comes
Ginny
through?
would have come through regardless.
Yeah,
fair enough.
All right, so I've got Annan, Bucky, Penny and Ford, Leanne, Ginny. I'm missing someone.
Declan and Honor System.
Declan and Honor System. All right. And I'm going to be kind and remind you that Crendon also needs to come through.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about him being...
Don't give you anything, Laura. Cool. So the gate opens. Bucky calls out that we're here, and it is literally like a family arriving for like a holiday, just slamming through the door. Too many people, bunch of bags. Bucky, you kind of lead the charge through. Annan is kind of like right over your shoulder, trying to she does that thing where it's like trying to hold the train door, where she kind of puts one leg through and keeps one leg on the other side and just gesturing people through, trying to help Penny and Ford through, who are very much taking their time. Leanne is like dragging, her work kit. So sort of a big trunk and a bunch of various working gear. You have Yevgenovich in the mannequin body, just like pushing stuff from behind, just trying to kind of get it up and over. Declan and Honor System, would you have come on this? You were asked to go, but would they have gone?
We have a quiet life here at Forlorn Hope.
We do have a quiet life, but here's the deal. The big farting resurrection machine.
The oath, yes.
Yes, if he's going to go off and start a kingdom and he's going to fuck it all up, do you think he can really survive it without us there to keep him in line? Because if they kill him, this is going to be like stop number 2 on the murder everyone who liked the farting oath train.
Well, I suppose we could take a look.
Leave the boy here, I guess. Bring the boy in case something bad happens here while we're not here.
I think it would be best to keep Seamus with us.
All right, we're all going to go through a magical portal to some sort of nightmare bad guy realm because some idiot who's making sure we can't die needs us to do architecture?
Yes, that is what the Dragon Boy said. Architecture.
Do you have programming for architecture?
Nothing special. I understand building layouts and things like that. Perhaps it's applicable. I mean, this is the only example of architecture of this world that we have is the fortress.
Okay, so maybe they're really starting from the ground up and they're like, okay, so he knows layouts and he is present and we can do that job. Maybe they'll have some place they can build me a fucking gun. That'd be so nice. I'm giving it up and all, don't get me wrong, but we've seen enough crises.
I know that you've given it up, but maybe as a treat, we can try and make you a gun.
It'd be a way that I could go hunting if we need food.
These people apparently use bows and arrows for that.
Yeah, I think despite the robot parts, you got to have a certain amount of upper body strength that has been trained for a certain amount of time. Unfortunately, we've trained in digging holes and then in your case, growing some things. And in my case, failing to grow things out of the holes.
Well, maybe you'll like learning to use a bow and arrow, or maybe we will figure out how to build you a gun.
Worst case scenario, let's just try to find a crossbow. It feels like a nice middle range of the skill sets. But yes, that makes sense. And I guess if we're going on vacation, we'll find a gift for Seamus. He'll be with us. He's old. I'm not good at parenting.
We can still buy him a present.
Okay.
Or find or take. I don't understand how
possession works here.
Yes.
Yeah, we're basically in a commune. I don't get it either. If your friend is now the king of a country, do you have to pay for groceries? I don't know the rules.
I don't either.
Well, let's go through a portal and learn the rules because we're architects now.
Well, we know a little bit about portals.
It's true. And I have been inside a building, which puts me ahead of where I started on the farming.
That's true. We can leave this for people more suited to it.
That makes sense. That the halflings can figure this out. You've got your sword?
Always.
Excellent. I've got a knife and a straw hat. It's really going to make an impression on the local architects. Seamus! Go off and find the boy.
Seamus, you find Seamus in his quarters, and he's got a whole bunch of diagrams up on the walls. He's been studying very hard. And it's all of portal craft. Even though Alan was a little hesitant to take on an apprentice, now that there's better communication going back and forth, he's really trying to prove to her that he knows his stuff. But unfortunately, it is a lot of he's piecing together what he can from talking to Fantabulous Frondu, who doesn't really know anything about portals, but does know a lot about magic. So there's a little bit of Calvin ball going on, but he's definitely trying to put in the time. And you just come in and he says, "Oh, hello, Dad." He looks at honor system. He says, "Father." He looks at you, Declan. He says, "Are we, what's going on?"
Do you want to field this one?
Seamus, we are going somewhere, and you're coming with us.
Oh, is it on that mission that Ginny was talking about?
Most likely.
My first suicide mission. This is very exciting.
No,
just like you, Father.
No.
Perhaps not.
Not quite. We're going to be architects of a new kingdom.
Oh,
Should be low to nil likelihood of suicide.
do you know how to do architect stuff?
Well, we have been selected, and so I believe we may have an edge on most of the people here at Forlorn Hope because, well, we've just seen more buildings.
Yeah, because our buildings were awesome, and these buildings, he looks around and kind of suck.
Yes.
Exactly. I think we may be able to help them think a little bigger on the scale of design.
I can help with that. I was in a lot of different buildings.
We will be leaving shortly, Seamus, through one of your portals.
But it's just super excited, but trying to like be a good little soldier about it and failing very badly. Just be like, yes, sir, sirs, yes, I'm ready. I even have a go bag. And he just like looks over and there's just a bag, like fucking Christopher Robin style, with like it says go bag on it, and he's just like, huh? Look, I even put a gun in there. It's just like a stick.
That's very good of you.
Look, I know it's not a gun. I just figured I'd practice in case I had one, because then I would know where to put it.
See, now we have to get 2 guns.
Yeah, okay,
right.
Dad, you can have one gun in each hand, but like I would really like one at some point.
Oh, I don't need one in each hand. That's no way to shoot.
Okay, so wait, so honor system, Dad, you're getting good at guns?
No.
So who's that extra gun? Is it for Ginny?
If I can get a second gun, the person I'm going to be teaching to shoot is you.
Okay.
You are going to be a little gunman magician of this strange realm.
Only if you are
fucking
well
jealous.
behaved, Seamus.
Of course, yes.
That's true. The amount of responsibility you have to have in place to be able to handle a weapon
Understood, sir.
is
Yes.
going to be staggering.
Yes, well, I've been trying to learn the portals so that I can prove I'm responsible, and I'll do it for guns too. But if we need to go, and he like grabs his bag and like immediately like pulls as many of the portal diagrams out and stuffs them in his backpacks, his architect stuff. Okay, well, if we need to go, then I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. I'll go get our go bags.
Thank you.
Declan will get him and go meet everybody at
It's
the
like,
portal.
wait, who's going to watch the gardens while we're gone? And then you all fuck off to the portal. Meanwhile, in another room, God, I can't believe we're going to fucking do this. In another room, Penny and Ford are also packing up. Here we go.
Hit it, baby.
All right. We're all
Yeah, just
No PCs in this scene. Good luck.
take a break, guys. Take a break. They say a good boss can't make you do stuff if they don't do it themselves. So here we go. So Ford is very aggressively making tea, which is always a bad sign in the Brown Barrow house. And he just says, well, Penny, we've been through a lot of disruption. I was kind of hoping with all those undead folks gone that maybe we could just kind of go back to the farm and I could see how many of the pumpkins I need to bury. Because, it's kind of a concern that some of those are gone. And meanwhile, Penny's just stuffing stuff in a bag. And she says, Ford, dear, I completely understand what you're saying. And it's, I know you love those pumpkins. But look, Quinny's friend, Butthole, he doesn't have a lot of supports in his life. He's had a lot of disruption. I know you're disrupted about moving from the farm. And Ford's like, I know it's not the same though. She's like, no, you're right. It's not the same. It's much more important. And he's done a lot for these people. And he's done a lot for our little Quinny, who's really come into his own and seemingly hasn't robbed anyone who lives here, which I think from what I've been hearing is a pretty good thing. So we're going to go and see if we can do for Butthole what he's done for Quinny. We're going to go try and take care of that big man. And at the very least, you can make sure that he's eating well. And I can, help, I guess, do forging and Ford is like, and teaching, hun. She's like, yes, and teaching. Yes, we'll go and we'll do all of that. We'll get back to our pumpkins eventually. But in the meantime, I'm just thinking we need to go. And also it'll be nice to have just Quinny and Ginny and all of us there and Butthole and that big old dog. And it'll be nice. And Ford just kind of shakes his head and he says, oh, okay, honey, you know best. This world's getting awfully big for me and I'm a little scared. And she takes his hand and she says, well, if you're scared, then that means it's the right thing to do now, doesn't it? And then she smacks him on the ass and she's like, now get going. And the two of them take off hand in hand and hand on ass to join the portal.
Yeah.
Annan, meanwhile, has missed all of this, but is frustrated that people aren't there on time. So that brings us back to our portal as people come through. So everyone kind of piles through. Ginny kind of like helps Seamus through, and he's definitely making a show of like, I can do this on my own, and then being like real freaked out about the actual stepping through the portal is not a fucking pleasant.
Sure.
Like there's a lip. Like it's weird to step up and over something and into another reality. And Crendon is looking around, not really sure what the fuck he's doing there. He's there. There's a little bit of sheepishness, and it definitely feels like, the ex-con who was given like a job in a community and is just kind of like, okay, but looking at kind of the A-listers stepping through, he has no fucking clue why he's coming along. But he was summoned and he's reporting in. So all of them kind of pile through. And behind them, Yevgenovich is just like creaking over, waving his mannequin arm, just be like, "Okay, have fun." And the portal snaps shut, and lo and behold, your friends have arrived. So Quinny and Butthole, you're in the building, so you're able to just kind of immediately go to them. Juniper, you're just one floor down, so it'd be easy enough for you to get up there as well.
Awesome.
So we're able to pull everyone together.
Hey.
The question I have for you, Ryan, is: would you do this in the bedrooms, or would you take everyone into the council hall, or where would you have the meeting of all of the characters we all play?
Probably because if they came out of the Raven Gate into that central room, that's kind of the living room meets there's the map of the area.
There's like a big
also,
lounge
there's
space.
just the big glass dome to see everything that's going on. It feels like a good place to meet. Also, he doesn't need them to see how oppressive the building is yet. This place is kind of a weird fishbowl. The moment they go downstairs, they'll realize like, oh, we're inside a demon's castle. Like we can have the talk up here and then get people down to quarters.
Cool. All right, I got to run through this list for a few things. Bucky, you're just in awe of this whole place. It's like another castle, but different. And look at all the people who are here.
Wow, we're so high up.
Adorable. Annan actually is similarly like kind of taken with this place. Like just going from the desperation of like the fur trader's hut to a castle to like a fortress. There's just kind of a like, you catch a rare sort of glimpse of just kind of awe as she looks out over like a desert. And weirdly, the oasis is probably geographically somewhere not too far from here.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just kind of a like, oh shit, like we moved. Penny and Ford just like run over to you, Quinny, and just like try and wrap you up in a big old hug.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
All right,
Yeah.
so there's a big hug. And Ginny kind of like shuffles up beside and just like punches you in the arm playfully, but then like comes in for the hug. She just had to be cool first.
All right, yeah, cool.
And Honor System and Declan, you step out, and I think after seeing kind of like the glass and you know you're up a tower, which honestly is probably a little comforting because it feels a little bit more like home. But there's also still just a bunch of typhus shit around on the walls and things from like Typhus's weird little like hovel he set up. Because Butthole, I don't imagine you like stripped that joint.
Typhus stuff wouldn't have a huge thing. It'd be like if it was offensive in some way, he'd remove it. But if it's boxes or furniture,
No, this was all of his like hammered together. Like he was building like his corporate logo and shit, and he had all that. Would you have had that taken down?
Oh yeah, that shit is
okay. So maybe they see that in the vault or something. It's just like been.
They could probably get if it's got turn off the wall and bust it up. There's still going to be the outline of it. Like you could see.
Yeah, I think it's just enough to like see remnants because they missed that whole escapade. So I think just the remnants of Typhus and like the shredded eye pal in a corner. There's just some like weird shit for the two of you.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, despite that, Declan's first thought is like, oh, that's weird. And Declan's second thought is, what's out the window? And it's just him mapping out the whole tactical situation that they are in. Because everybody here, a bunch of people are here to find out what's going on with the kingdom. And Declan wants to make sure they're not assassinated.
I was going to have you roll a perception check, but you only have 4 character sheets, not 5 today. So
I can guess his is insane.
Okay, so just roll a d20 and don't get a 1.
That was a 16, so
cool.
It's probably a 20-something.
You note claw marks raked down one of the windows near the balcony on the outside of the glass.
On the outside, yeah.
Great. So not only oh dear God, the tactical shithole. There's a hole in the wall. Wait, there was a fire recently. This is not as many thousands of people as I would have hoped we had in terms of an army. Wait, stuff can fly. Shit.
And Seamus is like, flying stuff. I mean, shite. Did I say that right, Dad?
You're doing fine.
And he's just like doing that parental thing of not really paying attention to the conversation, just like mathing out those claws, looking down, seeing the wyvern on the house that's down there and being like, running. Probably, but no one's screaming. Okay. Car. And he was like trying to figure out the equivalent in his world of all the things.
Seamus, you will stay inside until your father say it is all right to go.
Oh, yeah, staying inside here? Yeah, sure thing.
Good.
Excellent.
He seems to be quite taken with all the pointy architecture. He's entering his like, I think this is cool phase.
Oh,
so
good.
look
This
around.
just looks like
again?
horrific medieval dictatorship
I think
to
we
Declan.
said he was like 10 when this all started. started, but he's older now.
Yeah, I don't think I have that in the.
I don't have that written down.
Yeah, so,
Pre-teen to early teen.
yeah, he's like in his early. I'd say like tween at best. He's
Okay,
not.
cool.
Ginny is older than him and cooler than him.
He's 25. He's a recent university grad, but he's been really sheltered.
he got big into NFTs. That joke doesn't make sense because there were MFTs in our other world. Man, it's been a while. Anyway, yeah, I think we'd established he was like super little when you left him, and then I think he was like 8 when your adventures began. So he was like 10 when you came through the portal.
I think we're going to say definitively he 12.
Sure.
Does that feel good?
That sounds great.
That feel good to
Let's
the table?
just decide.
Whatever
Well,
it was canonically, listeners, just remember 12.
Time works differently. Wink. Yeah. Anyway, regardless, he's younger than Ginny, and he's just kind of on the cusp of like wanting to be helpful and everything else. He also admittedly does have a huge edge, having been educated in the Conglomerata. So here he is young, but also like seems like a genius
Would be a
because he was
university graduate.
Yeah,
Right,
just
yeah.
taught a bunch of stuff that we just didn't have here. So, while also being completely useless at like anything that doesn't have electricity. So ups and downs. Cool. So he's jazzed about it. Yeah, I think that I'll turn it over to you, Butthole. It's your room.
All right, everybody. Thank you for coming. Going to do a quick update. We have successfully conquered this kingdom. It was formerly known as Akka. We had a democratic vote last night. It's now known as Asgard. That's the kingdom's name. It was an ugly civil war. A ton of people died. We did successfully kill all the zombies, which has been great. No more undead. Like holds for applause. And a little bit of that maybe.
Bucky's clapping enthusiastically.
Yeah, Declan like single clap.
Our system is not clapping.
Roll forward.
Yeah.
Ford does a full like air punch into like little yeses, just being like yes. And then he collects himself.
Unfortunately, someone immediately took credit, and that someone was Captain Plantier, who wants to kill us all.
Boo! I'm
Agreed.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Then Plantier made a bunch of food grow outside the walls that the army unilaterally decided to start burning, so we saved what we could. There aren't a lot of reliable people in the army, but we've got Reginald in charge now. I'm going to have jobs for everybody in this room. In terms of the big things that are going on, a local country called Cormyr came here with an army to murder everyone and burn Asgard to the ground. But we negotiated with them, and we've begun negotiations with the Lord's Alliance from Neverwinter and the whole coast business. We basically need to establish that we have culture. That is not just war. We need to establish that we have laws, which are being worked on by Juniper.
Juniper waves.
And we need a local to vouch for us, so we're working on that as well. Everyone who lives around here seems to be either a horrific dictator or horrifically oppressed, but we can't save everybody because we're running this country that we don't want everyone to die in. Right now, prosperity, neutral. Our economy is in the shitter. But we do have a bunch of adamantine that we're hauling up to try to start selling and opening up trade. The military is full of absolute murder machines. The ones who necromancers liked are the ones who are still alive. So we've deposed most of the captains. We found one that's good. Reginald's in charge. And Crendon, congratulations. You're going to be captain number 2 because we're going to have 2 captains we can trust. Everybody who's here, I got a job for you in this new kingdom, so we got to try to make it work. It's a lot. I'm aware this is a lot. You're all hired. So, Annan, you're going to be my hand as usual. Patty?
And just door boots open. She's like, I brought some bagels just in case you need them. And she just throws nuts and chips at everyone.
Those are what they think bagels are here.
Oh boy, bagels!
Hey, I like the cut of your jib there, Mr. Dragon Boy.
I like the cut of your jib.
That's real cool. What's your name?
My name's Bucky. What's your name?
Well, my name's Old Patty Two Eyes.
Well, hello, Miss Patty Two Eyes. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Please, Miss Patty Two Eyes was my mom. You could just call me Patty Two Eyes.
All right, I love this moment of connection, but we are short on time. So,
of course, Your Majesty. I'm sorry.
This is Patty Two Eyes. Annan, before I had you here, Patty Two Eyes was you. So you're going to be the hand. You're running the kingdom when I'm not around. You make it all run. Patty can work for you because Patty's got the local connections. And then she's also really good at spreading rumors. So if we need like a town crier association, Patty. Bucky, I need a diplomat.
What's that, sir?
I need to send you basically when we have negotiations with other countries or people who are worried that we're scary or we need to make a friend. You're going to go and talk to them and then like make friends.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the job. Just make friends. It'll be really good for us. There are a bunch of people downstairs. They're all, not all, some of them are quite nice. One of them is a super powerful wizard. Wow. Okay, but we're going to need you to make friends with all of them.
I need to be a diplomat to them?
Yes.
Okay.
And Bucky's just walking. He's going to go downstairs.
Bucky, don't promise them anything.
Okay, Mr. Butthole.
Thank you. We're going to have to go with King Butthole just for the sake of propriety.
Okay, King Butthole.
It is nice to have him back. Okay. We've got Leanne. I need somebody to run all the guilds here. Basically be the general quartermaster. We've got a forge. That's still theoretically functional. We've got a hospital, but we kind of only have 4 clerics, so it doesn't really work. And we have a barracks that's full of nothing because it was full of murderers.
And she just kind of shakes her head and she's like, wow, from booting open my door to just booting open my job description, huh? That's a hell of a lot more than sewing coats.
Hello, new friend. If there's anybody you need from the fortress, bring him on over. Everybody's conscripted.
And she just like leans up and like cracks her back and she's like, okie dokie.
All right, Penny and Ford, you guys, we need a school system. This place doesn't have one. They just taught everyone to kill and then put them in the army. I'd like to take the youth of Asgard and try to turn them into better people who know more about other things. Everyone I know is also kind of a professional murderer or, arguably, an idiot. You two are nice, smart people who raised a good Quinny. Can you help me raise this nation's Quinnies?
And they look at each other and Penny steps forward and she's just like, well, I think there's Quinny's had his challenges, and Ginny apparently was sneaking out and laying traps all over the place. And Ginny's like, I was killing the undead. And they're like, we know, but still, it was past curfew, so it's not great. So we've got a little bit of experience with that, and we've, I think, learned a little bit too. But Mr. King Butthole, you're asking a lot of these folks. And you're asking a lot, and I think some of us are going to want some proper compensation for this. So I'll do it if you promise me that every morning and every night before you go to sleep, you will come and give me a hug. And I will not negotiate on this, Mister. I will kick you in the keister, and then when you fall over, I might even kick you in the shin.
She's not lying.
Okay, well, You got to live in the palace then. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's look, if reasonably, if you can't do it, that's fine. I'm just saying whenever it is reasonably possible,
yes.
I'm going to expect it.
That's
and
a
I
deal.
do not take rain checks, mister.
That's fine. I agree to these terms. I think they are more than reasonable, also pleasant.
Well, good. That's good. I'm glad. I didn't want to do any keister kicking today.
Great. Okay, Crendon we talked to. Seamus, good to see you. Declan and Honor System. I need architects to help me build the city. As you can see, a lot of it was on fire, or there's a big hole in the wall. Again,
there's
hospital,
a bite out of the table.
Hospital, no clerks. Ignore the table. Over there, we got a werewolf problem, Crendon. We're circling back to this. Basically, we're missing a lot of buildings. We don't really have infrastructure, and there's a chance that we could be invaded by any number of hostile nations. I was really hoping that you two could figure out what we should build in what order, and try to balance what the people need versus what we got to do. Yeah, local labor. I'm sure people can help you run the math or whatever you need on buildings, but I just need planners who have some balance of civilian life and military necessity, because we're outnumbered by everyone all the time forever.
King Farch, what does Asgard have in the way of building materials and a construction labor force?
Well, if you look outside, you're seeing it, and you're seeing it. We can hire people, we can conscript people. We might be able to start bringing people in from the outside, but we need to actually get the adamantine moving through the forge in a way we can start selling to be able to have some money to be able to hire people. I'd like to keep as much of the income in Asgard as possible, but we're building from functionally zero. We have a population of 8,000 people. I don't even think we have enough food.
That is going to impact the speed at which we can construct even the most basic and crucial buildings and structures.
Well, and Leanne will step forward and just say, Mr. Tin Man guy, you're not wrong. But if we're spinning up guilds, if you're willing, my lord, to lose some of your soldiers, I bet we could start training up craftspeople, tradespeople, and then, Mr. System, we might be able to get you your builders a little bit faster. And if there's excess military pieces, we might be able to repurpose some of those for building materials. The barracks, for instance, could come down. There's, from looks of things, a wall outside this castle could come down. It would be a hell of a job, but there are places. It just depends on what you want to prioritize. But I'm confident that if your soldiers are bored, then we can maybe take a chunk of them off to work on these projects, but it will open us up a little bit. I can't make enough shields to protect all of us, so.
I think Butthole's going to look to Quinny and Juniper and be like, just a second, everybody. Just form a little mini huddle and be like, I don't think we can actually beat any of the neighbors in a war anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
So
They could all get together and wipe us out, so
we commit to cultural prosperity and trying to keep civilian life positive. And
also, for anyone who did bad shit, murderous stuff, that if we don't want a blanket pardon, we could say, hey, you can work off your debt to society by helping rebuild it.
it's also one of those things where we could hand it off to maybe Vismuth and Reginald and them and have them go through the army, and like anybody they wouldn't want to put on the field, we retrain.
Oh, yeah.
So we're like reliable, and then we do a balance of like, we don't just want to send a bunch of psychopaths to go work in the guilds, but
yeah, sure.
But we don't really have a solution for the psycho problem. So send them over. They're well supervised, rehabilitated, trained. I like all of this. And frankly, if we don't become a cultural hub, we're fucked, because we just need people to like us.
We need the people downstairs to like us. You want to keep an army out of here? It's the people downstairs that we got to impress, and they laid out their terms, so this makes sense to me to meet those needs.
Goblin Jr. bumps you, and he's like, snarf, snarf, which you both hear is like, well, I don't know, would you cast talk to animals, or you just
if he needs it? This is one of those things where it's like, it depends on the level of complexity.
All right, well, I'm going to tell them what I'm going to tell
them.
them, and you tell me if you get off a snarf.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, hey, if we're trying to make people go like, hey, those guys aren't going to murder us if we just say, yeah, our army's gone by. Look, they're building shit now. That's a pretty good sign, back in, amongst the wolves. If one of us was like, I'm taking out my teeth now, we'd all be like, all right, that guy's pretty good. He's not going to bite us, just going to sniff our butts, and that's all right.
Well, he's got a good but weird point.
What was it? It seemed like it was pro doing this.
Basically, like the dissolving, I guess, of our standing army would be a pretty big gesture. And a very strong indication of our desire for prosperity. He talked about teeth, wolves taking their teeth out, and other wolves knowing that means that they're not dangerous.
Yeah. Tell them about the butt thing.
Yeah, and then they sniff butts. He says he really wanted you to know about the butt sniffing.
Then looks over to you, he's like, sniff, sniff.
Oh, yeah. Butthole looks out. Like, yeah. Like, looks back to this. He's like, okay, I don't know if we want to dissolve the whole thing, but I'd say we could take. Okay, hammerers could, if we're looking at like a way to quick structure this, hammerers can be a small elite force that we can send to other places to help solve problems, like a peacekeeping force, or you're dealing with like that country with all the undead in it, like that. Yeah. That's fucked. We don't want to leave people alone with those problems. Otherwise, we have like a civil, like the town watch or a civil defense force or something like that. A combo army police.
I got the haters. I mean, they got the hate. If they need to be doing violent things, they could be the ones, but
okay, I got an idea for 3 things. We got the hammerers, who are going to be legitimate paragons of justice and virtue. I'm going to make sure that unit's there, and we're going to shake anybody out who doesn't. We got regular town watch and civil defense. We'll make sure it's enough that we could actually try to stop somebody from rolling us over if we need to. The haters don't exist anymore.
Got it.
We don't need a force of random murderers in the night to do bad things.
Totally, yeah.
And I am so glad that we have also destroyed the unseen hand.
Yep.
Because we wiped most of them out, so they're just thoroughly understaffed.
They're gone.
And I'm glad that happened. So the haters are just going to disappear. And that'll be really good.
Yep.
Because sometimes when you don't have an army, it's good to know the haters are gone. And he's like walking himself through the logic of like, I can't say this out loud, so I don't have to lie about it later. It's like, they're gone. Okay. So that works.
Hashtag zone of truth.
Yeah, that checks all the buttons. I feel good about this. Do you guys feel good about this?
As good as we can, given the circumstances.
And I would say general street design, we keep the wall of fire around the palace that's magical. But
Yes.
solely because if shit goes wrong and we don't have enough of a military, we can have civilians fall
Yes.
back into the palace. We can fill this place and we can use whatever fucking 10-minute portal we have here on the wall to get 10 minutes worth of people out a day. And we just hold the castle for as long as we can.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Whatever you need to say to justify it, but the firewall stays up because my fucking family stays here.
That's also an excellent point. Okay, so that was our little thing. Go Junior Jays. Yeah, we're going to disband a good chunk of the army. We'll send them over to the trades, which is a good idea. Barracks absolutely can be taken apart. We don't need the outer wall to be as hardcore as it is now because we have like three.
Seamus is bumped.
I'm like, we have 3/4 of this like military wall with a giant gap. We could balance that out and use some of the materials to come around. We do need to start training people. We will keep a portion of the army to become the town and city watch as well as defense force, and a small elite group will become my hammers, adamantine armor, weapons of justice. They're going to do peacekeepers is a better term for what we're going to do with this unit.
Weapons of peace.
Weapons of
Leanne
peace.
says, winking.
Yep, no problem with that juxtaposition. And we got the church. We're allowing all faiths. But we're keeping the fire around the castle because it's our fallback. And that'll be our, like, there's too many bad guys. We get people in here and we can keep everybody safe for as long as possible.
And Seamus puts up his hand.
Yes, Seamus.
Hello, your Majesty. And he like literally like bows to the floor. Like he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. So just like
wow.
forehead to the ground and then kind of like awkwardly up.
He just looks like flexibility of youth.
He says, I understand that you have a bit of a funky portal situation going on.
Correct. The portal that you guys came through works for about 10 minutes a day and it's not consistent.
Okay, yeah, I've been studying portology. That's what I'm calling it, at least, in the hopes that maybe I can go study with Alan one day. So I'd be happy to kind of start working on that and see if maybe I can help stabilize it a little bit.
Then Butthole turned to Honor System Technically. Can he do that?
His abilities have not been truly put to the test, but his enthusiasm is more than apparent.
You won't find anybody who's willing to work harder, and I doubt we have anyone who's a portal specialist outside of Alan who won't show up. So let him take a look. If he could talk to some wizards, if you got some around who might know what's going on, that'll be
Alan's
helpful.
just like set like by the Raven Gates, just like meditating, being like, they haven't called me in a while.
Don't worry, Seamus is going to be calling you real soon. Yeah. You think they're the only ones stuck with too many character sheets today?
All right, so yeah, I say all right. Let's put him on the portal problem. There's a very talented wizard downstairs.
Is it Alan?
No. If you've got a way to reach out to Alan, that'd be great for more than one reason. But the Fallowmire Pink Blossom is one of the strongest wizards I have ever met. She's in the building. Then I gotta. If you get into the niches of like, I need to know a lot about magic missile, then I've got a guy. But if you need like a portal person, I don't have that. I got a Tensor's Disc person. I've got an acid arrow guy. I've got a magic missile guy, and I've got Kevin who does fireballs.
Annan raises her hand
Yes,
in a way that is both like, I'm doing this because it's supposed to, but is already talking as she does it.
Yeah, he just like gives the floor so easily.
And she just says, okay, so back home, a lot of the folks from Quintown, Cornucopia, were starting to worship you, Butthole. We were seeing statues, we were seeing informal and somewhat more formal ceremonies.
Mm-hmm.
Admittedly, since the food showed up, there's been some interest in the man who flew through the sky, but I've been stamping that shit out wherever possible.
He's a fucking dickhead.
Well, I mean, look, when a handsome kind of scruffy guy shows up looking sad and then gives you a bunch of food and says no and flies away. Like that ticks a lot of boxes for a lot of people. Unfortunately, they think they can help him.
I understand, but he was also like an emotionally abusive spouse.
I have explained that repeatedly.
Okay. Again, I'm not mad at you.
No, I know you're not. I'm mad about the whole situation. Regardless, religion is the thing we clearly don't have a tremendously great handle on either here or at home. And I'm curious. You mentioned that you've got religion on lockdown. Is this a theocracy, or are the people here meant to worship you as a god? Are you starting your own church? Do I need to print more commandments? Do we need to start adding that to the Forsaken book in the appendix? I am working on a new version with a new cover.
Yeah, and we're going to have issues with like some crossover with where the Forsaken ended up because it got taken over by... Do you know, the rest of the room doesn't need this. But like, we're not a theocracy. People can worship whatever they want. We welcome all gods within the kingdom. Am I a god? Yes. Are people able to worship me? Yes. Has that church already kind of been founded and the horse is out of the stable? Yes. But I've got Farthole Farch.
Wait, what?
Do you know Farthole?
I heard about Farthole.
Okay, so Farthole Farch reappeared. He's a cleric of me, and he is the high priest of Asgard.
You'll know him when you see him.
You're going to like him. Very enthusiastic.
Ginny is just like very badly hiding laughter behind a fist at the idea of Farthole Farch being a thing.
Yeah, so people don't have to praise me. I am a god. I am a king. Separate. No god kings. No church runs this place. Every time I've ever seen that happen, it's terrible.
Yes, I've seen the stage play Dune. It doesn't go well.
Yeah, it's bad. It turns into a worm. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I think it's a metaphor, but I don't. Do you understand metaphors, Quinny?
Yes.
And then Ginny's just like, Farthole! His name is Farthole?
Oh, yeah, you're going to like him.
Oh, okay.
He's in charge of all religion in this town.
And wait, and he's a goblin?
Yeah.
How did you meet a goblin?
Well, from what I've heard, it was a long time ago. Am I right?
He has a story about it, but I don't know what the fuck that guy's saying half the time.
Okay, so if you go talk to him, he'll tell you the story. Apparently.
Jenny, you don't have to talk to him.
Oh, I'm going to talk to him.
No, Jenny, seriously,
She can go with you when you go for a confession.
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. We do have all those unresolved issues from our long absence, Dad. Maybe we could go talk to him together.
You think you're having a good time here, huh?
I do.
Oh, yeah, you want to do dad-daughter confession?
To Farthole Farch? Yeah, I think that sounds fun.
Okay, yeah, it'll be really funny, lady. Okay, hey, King Butthole here, can you make a royal decree that little Miss Ginny here also has to do confession with me?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you guys are going to... I think we'll probably set it up so, like, you go in solo first, and then you can do a familial
Dad,
one
you
if you
take
want.
Your time to, like, actually talk about your shit. I just think it'd be really funny to talk about some of this with a guy named Farthole Farch.
Yeah, it's going to be really funny now.
Yep, you guys can do
You're gonna
confession
love
together
this.
then. That's great. So
Okay.
one and then two. Basically, we're trying to build this all from the ground up. The only people who kind of know what the hell is going on are Patty and then Quinny and Juniper. Reginald is currently trying to befriend the army while also, I think, intimidating all the nobility. We're working on the legal code. I don't know. It's kind of a hot mess. We kind of have given you all a category. We'll set up tables. I'm aware everything, it looks terrifying, and we're just going to have to live with that for a bit. We'll try to make it more comfortable.
And Ginny raises her hand.
What's up?
Uncle Butthole, King Uncle Butthole, you're...
In a minute, we're going to go into what you have to call me, but...
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Are you okay?
Oh.
Because, like, this is... You're saying, like, we all got a lot to do, but, like, you're here and suddenly, like, ever so often the teenage disappears, but then sometimes it comes back real hard for old Ginny. And her trying desperately not to say the only way we can all be here is if you killed your mom is just lurking near her, just off screen. She's like, you are here and king of Asgard, and you're alone here doing that, and that's a lot. And also, did you kill your mom?
Yeah.
Oh.
Nope, we're not doing that. Nope, we're not doing that. Everybody, we got to start working. If you have any questions, Patty, Juniper, Quinny.
That's...
Ginny, you got to stay. We're having a separate talk.
Okay. That's okay. Bye, everyone. She's like, get the fuck out. We're having a talk now.
On the way out, Quinny wants to talk to.
You can stay for. To be clear, Quinny and Juniper can stay for the talk with Ginny. He's not.
Okay.
It's just if anybody had any questions, he doesn't have any more answers than you guys do. So
Okay.
it's kind of.
Quinny's just going to want to maybe talk to Goblin Jr. just like as walking everyone out, and then he'll come back kind of thing. But he's just going to say to Goblin Jr. like, "Hey, look, so I'm the spy master, and this is not like me recruiting you or like any kind of official order or request. I probably couldn't order you to do anything, but you are probably the closest to Butthole, so you don't have to report on him to me or anything like that. But if you see or hear things that are concerning, you can tell me."
Yeah, right.
And it's pretty good spycraft because not a lot of people speak wolf.
Yeah, well, I mean, soon I'll have all my wolves, so that'll help too.
Oh,
all
he's
my
getting you
Roman
your wolves, huh?
I mean, paws crossed. But don't just leave it on my shoulders. You keep an eye on them too.
Well, no, I know,
'cause-
but this will help me.
Yeah,
do
no.
that.
I think we both got to take care of him. But just remember, when you died, he did that whole Forsaken thing for a bit. He doesn't handle grief well, and we got to give him some time, I think. But
We don't have time.
I mean, that's not an excuse. I don't even know that this kingdom's worth much if we can't take care of him,
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I'll keep an eye on him.
Okay, thank you. Goodbye.
Yeah, snarf, snarf.
And
He says in you can understand him. He literally just says snarf, snarf to you.
yeah. It's not the first time he's done it.
Yeah, exactly. And he just trots back over.
Yeah, so I'll come back over to Butthole and Ginny. What's up?
Okay, so Ginny, you seem like you're a pretty solid person.
And she just hugs you. She just throws her arms around you, and she's like, "Look, I if we can do whatever you're about to do in a second, but just I love you, okay?"
Cool. Thank you. That's very kind of you. And he's just like dead to positive emotion. It just hurts for any positive emotion. So it's just that like stiff thank you, like where the response is unbalanced to the statement being made.
Yep.
Well, is it just us here or is it just us here? Like, it's okay.
What do you mean?
I don't know, you're holding something back.
It's they're called feelings, and I don't have time for those right now. Okay, so Juniper,
Would you like a hug?
Clearly not. I just watched the worst hug I've ever seen in my life.
But I know, but I thought maybe a different.
the offer is very appreciated. A hug itself, I would rather get hit with a hammer. Okay,
Would you like to get hit with a hammer?
Don't what? Stop helping. I have to be a king for like 2 more minutes, and then we can all.
And Ginny like
around.
fully is backed off now,
Great.
and now is well in her awkward teen.
To be clear, Ginny, you didn't do anything wrong.
no, that's all right.
Annan, I also need. Annan,
And it is never far away.
Yeah.
Like you yelled at, and it's like she wasn't hanging off the edge of the elevator shaft when the elevator went down, but it was fucking close.
Okay, so
She comes back around with her clipboard.
I've had
She
a talk.
somehow found a clipboard.
Patty, you know, fucking Patty has one somewhere. It smells like pee.
Yeah, of course. It's gonna be the joke too.
All right, so this information does not have to go much further than this room, but it does need to be officially noted, and it's something everybody needs to be aware of. I've already talked with Quinny about this. The line of succession for us, especially in a kingdom at this point, is very fraught. I don't have a son. I'm not going to have time to get married and then have a son or a daughter or anything. Adopting is complicated, theoretically possible, but I'm not exactly pick of the litter in terms of which king you're going to marry currently, which means there's me and there's Reginald. Reginald is not meant for the throne, nor does he want the throne. I don't think he'd last very long on the throne. Quinny's not somebody who wants to be king again.
Tried that, did not like it.
Tried that hat, didn't care for it. Juniper, we kind of got another thing. Patty, make sure Crandon doesn't leave.
And it's your okie dokie.
Yeah, we got this other thing going on. But when it comes to who should take the throne next, if something happens to me, the only decent person who's also young and can keep the focus and has some kind of tie into everybody is Ginny.
like her eyes go wide. She's just like, oh, fuck.
So,
What?
Ginny,
No.
there's like a 2-part thing to this. Part 1, I might start calling you Princess Ginny. And part 2, of all the people in the kingdom, you'll be the only one who's allowed to call me Uncle Butthole.
You can't. You can't. You can't. No, you can't put that on me. You just became king, and you're like a spooky god or whatever. And I get that you're super sad about stuff, but like I've seen what you can do. I've seen what my dad can do. I've seen what Juniper can do. You know, fucking Alan, who is living in space or wherever now, I think.
Ginny,
and
there are a lot of people who can do what we do, and probably some of whom can do what we do better, and they're not all on our side. Actually, there's very few people on our side.
So we're going to make all the friends in the world that we can, but we need a plan for something that goes wrong. Also, I'll be a god then, and I can look out for you in different ways once I'm full god, no more body. But not rushing towards this. We're going to do everything to prevent this from happening. We need a contingency.
It might never happen.
That'd be great. But we literally can't come up with a better plan than this, which is both a compliment and I'm aware how scary it is as somebody who was raised to do this.
Yeah,
It's bad.
that one. I don't know anything. You know that, right? I don't know anything. I grew up in a fucking field. I thought my dad was a great thief or guard. I had to flip a coin on that one for a long time. My whole town worshipped my dead father. Then he came back from the dead, turned out to be admittedly awesome. And then we fought wizards and zombies. And when I tried to help, you all came down on me like a ton of shit. And now you're telling me I have to pick up this garbage too? Look at this fucking place. It's on fire. Everyone is scared. And you just said everyone around us is a murderous tyrant. What the fuck am I supposed to do in this? And also, like, I don't want to be you. I want to be him. And she points at Quinny.
You're not him, and you're not me.
It's just a Juniper, like, can I be you? I'm sorry. The
Look,
snark
not
comes
her either.
naturally.
It's okay,
I'm sorry.
but-
You're Ginny Brownbarrow. That's why we chose you.
Oh, fuck. She can't fuck with that argument. That's pretty good.
And here's the thing. We don't know what we're doing either. No one really does when they've got these kinds of jobs.
If shit goes really well and we all work together and we do this right, in like 30 or 40 years, we might be able to turn this place into a democratic state. That's the ideal outcome. Before that, yeah, it's dog shit. But somebody has to do this job that shouldn't exist because the system that it's built upon is incredibly flawed. We'll give you extra education. You can shadow Annan. Frankly, you're going to know more about running this place than any of us do in that amount of time. And I, frankly, was not trained to be a king either. I was trained to be a hollow, raging asshole who had a god dumped into them, and then I escaped and was a mercenary for a bit. And then I just kind of stumbled into this by trying to do the right thing. That's all we're asking. Just try to do the right thing. If you have to.
Yeah, okay. But if you die, she points at you, Butthole, she's like, I'm going to use my queenly powers to find someone to resurrect you so I can kick your ass for dying.
Valid.
And you, she points at you, Quinny, she's like, I better still get to go out and do cool thiefy shit because there is no way I'm sitting in some tower taking fucking lessons from Annan all day. You promised you would teach me the family trade. And so if I'm going to be queen of this place, they're going to call me the fucking Queen of Blades or something cool like that because I want everyone to know that I'm still like a fucking sneaky little girl. I want people to know. I want that. I want that on my fucking tombstone, along with like I run a democratic whatever. And Juniper, I fucking knew it. Thank you for telling me that. I fucking knew adults didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
I thought it was maybe just my dad, but if it's everyone, that's fucking
No,
great.
I've only learned it recently.
Oh man, I'm not going to tell
Yeah.
Seamus, but I could.
I know what I'm doing.
Sure, Dad. Sure you do.
I mean, I know what I'm trying to do.
yeah, it's okay. Okay.
All right.
I am sorry that I yelled at you a bunch just now. I kind of thought you were going to yell at me for calling you uncle.
Nope, that's staying. And your name, technically, legally now, is Quinny Brown Barrow Farch.
Ginny.
Ginny Brown Barrow. Fuck me. I'm so glad that we do these things in private.
Yeah.
We'll have somebody else write it down when I got to read
it'll
it
be
on the
written.
day. Oh, there'll be a whole
absolutely,
proclamation.
Yeah, we'll
But
practice it a bunch.
Annan just taps the clipboard aggressively because she's clearly been doing. She's like, yeah,
Well,
obviously.
and we'll have it in a font that makes the G look really distinct.
Trust me,
from
I'm
the
already
Q
working on it.
and- okay.
Bad
Also-
fonts are.
Yeah.
Annan, write it up for now. You're the person who knows outside of this room. We don't need to make this public knowledge currently because we have me, we have Reginald, and frankly, the public doesn't need to know. This is just our contingency taken care of in case some shit goes down. We have a witness who is not one of the three people in this room. That's good.
Hey, look, you saw what happened when I had to run the place. We did the whole "we are Annan" thing. I'm really glad you've picked this option. Also, thank you for not putting Reginald on the throne. I was very worried.
Oh, I legitimately think he might just run.
Yeah.
If it's her, I think he sticks it out.
The guy
Okay.
just
sure.
wants to be safe.
And
That's what it comes down to with
and
him.
that does get to Annan a little bit. She's like, okay. All right. Yeah. We can do this. And she puts a hand on Ginny's shoulder and she's like, we can do this. But it's very like, I'm your new stepmom kind of vibes. And Ginny's like, yeah, sure, Annan. Okay, great.
Okay. Tom, what is our timeline to... This is the day we have to do all the show shit, right? Or do we have more
You
time?
don't have to. You could do it. It was scheduled to be today, but again, like the thing with these envoys is they are here to like ensure that it happens, but they're also realistic about it. Basically, the test is if we show up and we're like, you need to do these things, and you're like, oh fuck, we'd never considered these. It'd be like, we need them by the end of the day, or we're gonna like level the city. But like, from talking to Primrose that she actually doesn't want to level the city. Like she hates Akaw and she wants Akaw gone, but more bloodshed and destruction. And also realistically, from what you know of her and the way she was presenting it, she was going to let everyone out of the city first. So like the refugee crisis she was prepared to create is like a bad scene for all. It will lead to a lot of bad things.
Yeah.
So despite being here to destroy your city with an
It's
army,
not her top interest. Yeah.
No. So she's willing to give you the rope. I think particularly because you made such a good impression on her through all the wacky hijinks that kind of led down that road. So that's all fine. And then the envoys from the Lord's Alliance, they don't want to be here too long. But again, they came. Most of them were encouraged to come by people that are like vital allies, like Dawdle. Like,
Yeah.
They've been really like, and Lord Never, like Von Strauss is essentially the regent of Neverwinter right now, and his number one is Pokas. You've got like a bunch of people being like, these guys are on the level, so you've got time. If you don't want to do it all today,
I think
you don't have to do it all today.
because Butthole's thought is we've got the drill. He hasn't heard complaints, so assuming drill is in place, fireworks are good. The
Fireworks are fucking great.
paint night is going to be a breeze. The bigger concern is like getting these laws in place, and like that's the thing he would want to check out. Okay, we've got staff in place. That's happening. Juniper, where are we at on laws?
I've spoken to our friends from Cormyr and Neverwinter and Waterdeep and Mithril Hall and got a pretty good list of kind of laws that I think we could kind of borrow from and other ones that we would absolutely never use. So I think I have a good general idea. We just gotta see how things apply here, because this isn't Cormyr or Waterdeep or Neverwinter or
Okay, so
Mithril Hall.
if I had to say, how many days do you need to write up a rough draft of the laws of this nation, at least the high level ones?
Oh, I feel like high level ones I've got.
So you could present those in, say, an hour.
What? Present them like to the public?
No, to me.
Oh, to you. Yeah,
And
I mean
Quinn.
a good like draft. I think we should review it, but then I think we should talk to some people from Asgard
Okay, so
about them.
in an hour, we can do a presentation where you present the laws to me,
Yep.
Quinny, Annan, because Annan has things make sense. We get Vismuth to represent the military. We get Balthazar Durian as the wizard whose name I know, so he becomes the local wizard guy. We will get somebody to represent Seraphina Bellwinter, somebody I need to represent the voice of the weird nobles of this place.
Oh, man.
And Patty Two Eyes to speak for the populace. That's our weird panel to discuss your upcoming laws. We'll see you in an hour.
See you later.
This episode of Dum-Dums and Dragons features the voices of Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Laura Hamstra at EL Hamstring on Twitter, and our DM Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode's sound was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and Dum-Dums and Dragons artwork is by Del Borovic, who can be found at delborovic.com. Our theme songs are And Now for That Massive Coronary and Skipping Through the Orchestra Pit Part 1 by Peter Gresser, and our ad music is No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, all available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum-Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. But most importantly, we've got merchandise at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, or you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. And tune in next week for more Dum-Dums and Dragons. Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time. Christopher Little, Sue One, George Dolby, Richard Cranium, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Logan, Fire Unfriendly, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Stabby Stranger, Glitch Trick, Flynn 1138, Alarain Okapi, Schrodinger's Pepper, Guy Edwards, Madre de Gatos, Lady Maiden, Mithrian, Garbo Ape, Locke, Sam Schaefer, Waffle Marine, Dagger Rain, Rob L, Dia De Los Hoodless, Diophasis, Squishy Werewolf, Remy, Funky Head, Nomad, the Wise Paladin of the Badlands, Accent Therapeutic Services in Florence, Kentucky, Lael, Shulzari, Gus Schreider, Drama, The Long Family, Jordan Oliver, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.